unbelievable performance by Patrick Mahomes against one of the best defenses in the league easily. Imagine how much better he's going to be with Andy Reid. He's really something.
By the way, they both dominate the same way, but here's the big difference. It is okay to admit you had it easier than somebody else. Your journey was easier. I mean, it's easy for me to say I'm glad I wasn't a trust fund kid, but that could have been a fun life too. Trips to Europe 2 or 3 times a year on yachts and stuff. But that's not the life I got. But it's okay to admit I don't have any envy for that or jealousy. It's okay to admit your parents were successful, things were easier. The difference between MJ and Mahomes is the journey. Michael joined a totally dysfunctional organization. They were called the Traveling Cocaine Circus. They were one of the worst teams in the league. They had an owner who liked baseball more than basketball, a GM with a chip on his shoulder. He had a couple of ball hogs who wouldn't pass Michael the ball. And oh, by the way, his first 2 coaches, Kevin Lockery and Stan Albrecht, have been fired over 10 times. Mahomes entered the league with a highly functional franchise. The Chiefs were 12-4 the year before. They haven't had a losing season in 8 years. They have great weapons, a serviceable to above-average offensive line, one of the great play designers in NFL history, very little pressure, take the year off, and a ownership group that is so fantastic, the AFC Championship trophy is named after them. Now, they dominate the same way, but there's a reason Michael Jordan has that metal and that body armor. His journey was incredible. It's okay to admit it's been a lot easier for Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid, great weapons, fastest receiver, best tight end, a B-plus offensive line in a division with lots of dysfunction. The Raiders, the Chargers. Michael Jordan entered the league with the formidable Pistons and the formidable Celtics. Legendary coaches, legendary players. It's okay to admit Mahomes got the keys to a Mercedes. Man, but not brand new. It was used. It had like 32,000 miles on it, but it was mostly a Mercedes. I watched the 10-part documentary on Michael Jordan. Joy and I sat here, and the most remarkable thing about the documentary, how damn hard it was for MJ. He was the best looking, most glamorous, best player, everything. He fought his GM. He fought the owner. He fought his teammates. He fought everybody until Phil Jackson. Dennis Rodman would just go to Vegas right before a game. Patrick Mahomes, by the way, he's going to have a 10-part documentary too. We just got the trailer to it. Here's what it sounds like.
What if I told you a quarterback inherited a stable franchise, a great offensive head coach, had no pressure on him, and had an entire year to learn the system before he had to play? What if I told you that quarterback was really good immediately? A new documentary, Easy Street, the Patrick Mahomes story.
It takes nothing away from how brilliant he is. But this has been grooved for him a little. Some guys get Adam Gase. Some guys get Andy Reid, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, the Hunt family, a dysfunctional division, a great play designer. It's not a knock. But what makes Michael Jordan so endearing is what he had to go through. Mahomes was in that left lane in the freeway with an easy pass. 85 miles an hour, just don't wreck it into the median. Michael Jordan was on a dirt road. A storm had knocked a few trees in the way, and somebody sliced his tires before he got in the car. That's what makes the Jordan story to me so special. That's what made the documentary so gripping. Good God, Michael had a lot to go through. Thank God he had a good mom, a great college coach, and eventually a great head coach. Otherwise, he doesn't get there. Mahomes is great, but boy, this has been, to this point, really nicely grooved for him to succeed. And to his credit, he has taken that, focused, head down, work hard, go forward, and produced. But the past so far are quite different. In fact, I'll read you a funny line. This is Michael Jordan when he first got to the Bulls. I just want to read you this line. He said, I had a preseason game. I think we were in Peoria. I was in the hotel trying to find my teammates. I was knocking on all these hotel doors. And I knocked on the door, and I could hear somebody inside the room say, shh, somebody's outside. And then I heard a deep voice say, who is it? I said, MJ. And they all went, he's just a rookie. Don't worry about it. I opened the door. I walk in, and practically the whole team was in there. It was like things I'd never seen in my life as a kid. Lines of coke, weed smokers, women over there. The first thing I said is, look, man, I'm out. Because all I kept thinking was, what if the coaches walk in? Said Michael, from that point on, I was more or less on my own. That is not the Mahomes story. Matters a lot in the NBA. When I look at the Lakers and I look at the Miami Heat and I write down their top players, the two best players in this series are both Lakers. LeBron James is one, and then Anthony Davis is number two. Then after that, it's a bunch of Miami Heat players. Jimmy Butler would be 3. Bam Adebayo would be 4. Goran Dragic would be 5. Tyler Hero would be 6. Then it gets really, inches, not feet. I'll go Rondo, KCP, Kuzma. Number 10, I'll put Andre Iguodala of Miami because he's been in this game so many times. I think his experience will be really vital. By the way, that has been the Lakers story for the entire bubble as they've blown through it. Blown through Portland, blown through Houston, and blown through Denver. They have the two best players in every series, and then 3 through 7 or 8, it's the other guys, and then maybe a Laker or two at the end. That's actually what's always won for the Lakers. Whether it was Kareem and Shaq, and then everybody else had like 3 through 6. Shaq and Kobe. Everybody else had 3 through 7. That's NBA history. That formula's worked for the Lakers this year. Number 1 seed in the West, blown through the playoffs. 2 stars every single night. They are clearly the two best players for the Lakers on the floor, and they win. That's very Shaq and Kobe. Miami had 5 different guys lead them in scoring in the playoffs. That's very much the Pistons. But if you look at Miami's history, even they've done it the Laker way. Shaq, Wade, Gary Payton. Bosh, Wade, LeBron. So what you're asking Miami to do is what they've never really done. The Pistons way, the Sonics way, that Mavericks with Dirk and J.J. Barea. We know what wins in the NBA. Now, it is the bubble. The bubble's been quirky. The bubble's been weird. Young players have done very well in the bubble because there are no toxic road crowds. They play basketball. They play video games. They hang out. It feels like a big AAU tournament. And of all the teams that have some young guys mixed with old guys, Miami's been the best. Dragic's been around a while. Jimmy Butler's been around a while. Andre Iguodala's been around a while, surrounding young stars like Bam and Tyler Hero. But I will take the Lakers because I will take LeBron. I have not seen him. This is the one old team that got a break with the bubble. Why? Anthony Davis has a history of getting hurt. He got his body totally healthy for 4 months. Anthony Davis loved that 4 months off because he's had nicks and bruises and cuts and injury. Oh, he got 4 months off to get healthy. Healthiest Anthony Davis has ever been has been in this bubble. And LeBron is in his 17th year. He could have used 4 months off to hang out with his family in his pool in Brentwood and get... So this is the one old team that actually the 2 stars benefited greatly from time off. And I also think not only is LeBron the most energized I've seen him, I swear to God, in about 5 years, listen to him, he's the most focused I've heard him perhaps ever.
I'm here for one reason and one reason only, and that's to compete for a championship. And that was my mindset. Once I entered the bubble, once I entered the quarantine process, the first 2 days, that's just been my mindset. Throughout these, I don't even know how many days it is. How many days it is, it feels like 5 years. So it really doesn't matter. But I've been as locked in as I've ever been in my career.
The one old team that has flourished in the bubble actually got 2 breaks. They're called LeBron and AD. The brittle player, healthiest he's ever been going into the playoffs, and the 17-year star needed a little rest and got it. I'll take the Lakers in 5. Peter King's been around football for a long time. He was talking about Patrick Mahomes' performance on Monday night against the great Ravens defense. We thought it was great. It didn't look great. It looked like pickup football 7-on-7 in a park, and Mahomes picked it apart. And Peter King had this to say about the performance.
This is going to sound idiotic, okay? And it's going to sound way too early. I thought we were watching the Michael Jordan of football last night. That was